Folks, a disturbing story out of California where pressure is now growing on some Democratic politicians to return money from a wealthy white party donor following the death of a young black gay man at his home. 26-year-old Gemmel Moore died on July 27th at the West Hollywood apartment of prominent California donor Ed Buck. Authorities ruled that Moore died of an accidental crystal meth overdose, but police are now taking a closer look at what happened at Buck's residence the night Moore died. And Moore's mother is openly questioning whether Buck may have had something to do with her son's death. The group Color of Change and other activists have launched a petition demanding that Democrats who accepted contributions from Buck use the money to set up a fund to support Moore's family. Now, joining us from Skype is Los Angeles journalist Jasmyne Cannick. Jasmine, you've been tweeting this story, talking about it, and are you concerned at how police are investigating what took place at this home of Ed Buck?
Absolutely, Roland. We're all concerned because, you know, as I've been telling people, only a white man could have a dead black body in his house and explain it away to the police, have them say, okay, nothing to see here, pack it up, let's take the body and move along. But what happened is that pages from his journal were published in which he talked about how Ed Buck was injecting him against his will with crystal meth, how Ed Buck was forcing him to do crystal meth. And then what else happened is other young black gay men, numerous young black gay men started coming forward saying, Ed Buck did this to me. He injected me against my permission with crystal meth. He picked me up off the streets. He found me on a website. And so what we have is stories of a white gay man in West Hollywood with a Tuskegee-like, a Tuskegee experiment-like fetish who only likes vulnerable young black gay men. These are the only men that he picks up. He pays them anywhere from hundreds to thousands of dollars to smoke crystal meth and to hang out with him. And we're happy, you know, people are happy finally that homicide detectives have decided to take a closer look, but it's a month later, right? And so a lot of evidence is gone. This man has had a lot of time to clean up his apartment and get rid of a lot of things, but we're very grateful that these young men have started coming forward and with their pictures, with their receipts, right? They've got pictures, they've got videos, they've got text messages from this man. So they're the real deal. And so right now in Los Angeles, they're currently in the middle of this homicide investigation, and we're going to see what comes out of it. But, you know, what has bothered the family and what has bothered his friends and other people locally is that no one from the Democratic establishment in California or Los Angeles has had really too much to say about this. As a matter of fact, he's given almost $500,000 to various Democratic causes, candidates and office holders. Congresswoman Karen Bass was the first and the only person who received a campaign contribution from Ed Buck and returned the entire amount back to his family. And folks are hailing her, as they should be, and thanking her for standing up and taking that step. But, you know, our Democratic Party leadership, nothing. Our local leadership in LA, nothing.
Spencer? Jasmine, 1 second. Spencer.
Yeah, Jasmine, I guess my big concern here is that, you know, I know a lot of folks are uncomfortable talking about black, gay, male prostitutes. It seems, though, that this guy, Ed Buck, in terms of this pattern, actually took advantage of that. Basically was like, hey, I know nobody's going to care about you. Black folks aren't going to care about you. White folks, nobody's going to care about you. And therefore, I can do whatever I want to do. I think that is a major concern I had. He saw the vulnerability here.
Hold that 1 second. So, Jasmine, I wanted to make sure, though.
Yeah.
Were these brothers, were they prostitutes or just simply young black gay men?
So we have, okay, so first of all, they like to be called escorts, okay? Some of the more provocative websites use the word prostitute and sex worker, but they refer to themselves as escorts, okay? And some of them, you know, at the time were homeless. Some of them weren't homeless. Like I said, he was meeting them on the streets. He was meeting them online. One young man that I interviewed, he talked to me about how Ed Buck took him to Skid Row to pick up other black men. Okay? He preys only on African American men. And you're exactly right. He preys on the most vulnerable because he knows that respectability politics are going to kick in. No one's going to believe them. No one's, I'm Ed Buck. I'm a top donor to the mayor. I'm a top donor to the Democratic Party. You can't go against me. But luckily, these young men are coming out of the shadows, as I say, because again, it hasn't been easy for them either, right? Because they're not proud of their what they do or what they've done with Ed Buck. But this young man died, and they've all said to me, that could have been me. I was there. That could have been me. And they all have the same pictures with the same couch, the same mirrors, the same everything. They have videos, so they're not lying. And so right now what's happening is a civil rights attorney by the name of Nana Jumphy here in Los Angeles was able to get immunity for these young men to go into the police department and to tell their stories without themselves, getting caught up in the criminal justice system, because they are Black men, right? And they would be going in there admitting to crimes that they've also committed with Ed Buck in terms of drug possession, drug use, etc. And so now they're starting to do those interviews. So the real investigation is getting ready to start now that immunity has been granted to this first round of victims and witnesses. And as the story grows, we hope more folks will come forward. But what the family and friends really, really want also here in Los Angeles and in the state is for the Democratic Party to acknowledge that this is going on. You're screaming about Charlottesville, you're screaming about Black Lives Matter, you're screaming about DACA, but you have nothing to say about this man who is such a prominent member of your party?
I got it. Jasmine, thanks for your hard work on this. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland.
All right. Again, if it ain't for Black journalists, some stuff don't get talked about.
Yeah, man, seriously, and money talks. I mean, at what point does it become untenable? You got the leaders of the legislature, you got Jerry Brown and Gavin Newsom. At what point do they roll this back? But if not for Jasmyne Cannick, this wouldn't be a story. And if not for TVOne, NewsOne Now, the nation wouldn't know.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, what do you need to take out in order for there to be a full-blown investigation going on? Do you take out the gay? Do you take out the Black? Do you take out the young? Do you take out the man? Do you take out the prostitute? Do you take out the escort?
Do you bring in
what does it take?
Do you bring in the former Attorney General of California and the Junior Senator from California?
Was found dead in someone's home.
But they said, it was mad.
Right, to Spencer's point.
But that's what happened in Southwest. When there was a Hispanic white guy running around withdrawing blood from Black people and paying them for it. What happened to that? Nothing.
Too much money on the table.
That's why.
That's why it's
but if it's always about money, then somebody's always going to end up with the short end of the stick.
That's why
you'd rather be somewhere else?
That's why the movement is called Black Lives Matter.
Weekdays on TVOne.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no. That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about Black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TVOne.